Jeff's done a great job. Why'd that feel like a lie?
And like an odd shot at you. I think Ace is just used to throwing animosity that way.
In this chair?
Yeah. And there's Tom.
Now we've had a great opportunity this morning. We talked with the fabulous, great comedian Frank Caliendo. The greatness continues. This guy looks just like Frank, only vastly different. He is
Shout out Frank Caliendo.
The very handsome Al Jackson. And
Well, thank you.
Al can be seen on the show The Daily Blast Live, DBL. You'll find it on your TV or at a computer near you. And Al always dresses up for the show. He always wears a nice coat and tie. Very handsome. A variety of glasses. You never know what he's going to be wearing.
He wears a tracksuit every week.
On this show.
He's talking on Daily Blast
on
Live.
DBL, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what level of sarcasm Tom was going for.
Yeah, right.
I do. I kind of. First of all, I just want to say, Jeff, I agree with you. It did sound like an insult.
Thank you.
Okay, it needed to be said that you were not being hyperbolic there. When he just goes, "You're doing. It's like when your parent takes you to work and lets you sit in their chair, like you're the president today." It just seems like it was a little shade there.
Now, Al, where's your Nuggets gear?
Oh, brother, look, man. I am a diehard Cavaliers fan. Guardians, Browns, Cavs. So I'm going down with the ship with the Browns, and I can watch the Nuggets like a step parent. You know?
Yes.
Like, hey, that's a perfect analogy. I never thought. It's just like I am proud of them. And I know that people that I love them, and that's how I am with the Nuggets. But I've been going to the games for about 6 years now. The games have been fun, and kind of to watch this team go from this fun weird mountain team to now everybody kind of knows who Joker is. It's really interesting. So hey, shout out Nuggets. But I lived in Miami almost 10 years, so. I'm like, why are mommy and daddy fighting?
That is the perfect analogy, though. That you grew up in Cleveland and remained a Cavs fan. By the way, speaking of Cleveland, we were talking about Josh's desire to be a late night television host featuring scary movies. And when you were a kid, Goulardi was probably already gone, the famous Cleveland late night host. Did you watch the other, what was it, like Big Chuck and Houlihan or something? Who was it when you were?
Big Chuck and Little John.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Okay.
It was just this period of time, and everybody, there was VHF and UHF.
Right.
And Big Chuck and Little John were like this local show where there was a period when you're like, between 9 and 10 or maybe even 11 where you don't get adult humor, but like something kind of sexual happened, but you didn't have maturity or something, but they kind of just made the kind of off-color jokes and it came on late night. And it's good to see that Josh is shooting for that coveted 2 a.m. local TV slot.
Dude, I'd love it so much.
Maybe
it would be so freeing.
Yeah.
You could have
awesome.
Al could be your sidekick.
Well,
a little bit of diversity in late night television.
No, see, I think the problem with television these days is that it's gotten too diverse, and I'll tell you why. I'll save this for some of the time.
Normally, this is coming out in all caps on your desk, but today I'm going to verbalize it.
Yeah.
Al, have you ever thought about becoming something in that
No.
sort of sphere of Dracula and Frankenstein? Who would you be?
And here's there's this thing there's this term we're not going to talk about it today, but it's cultural appropriation, where everybody's worried about people absorbing other cultures and taking it in. And I feel like people never apply that to nerds. Everybody has taken nerd culture, everything that people like. I am so into Star Wars. There are people that got like their brains beat in 1982.
Right.
E.T. And now it's a smoking hot 9.5 model with thick black glasses. Like, I'm such a nerd. I'm really into. It's just like nerds paved the way. All the people that beat up nerds now have podcasts about Game of Thrones. That is Dungeons and Dragons. All these things that are there was just a Dungeons and Dragons movie. So, I really do I wasn't into the monster nerd thing, but I want to leave that for a guy that is 37. He has just 10 years of therapy has made him forget junior year, and he can move on with his life. And he can be proud to say, hey, I saw every Dracula movie. I can tell you the difference between the American ones and the Japanese ones. I want nerds to reclaim their territory because I'm tired of us imposters walking around talking about like, oh, I'm into this nerd stuff. No, you weren't. Let me see your battles. Let me see your backpack. Is it torn? Okay, I believe you.
Everybody's kind of a nerd about something, and it's always fun when you meet someone who's nerdier than you in that topic.
Yes.
Like if I go to when I go to these horror conventions, I'll start talking to people, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking. And then I hear some other, I'm like, you are a nerd. I have no idea who played Godzilla in the fourth one.
Yeah. If you ever read the notes to the New York Times crossword puzzles, the people who write in, yikes!
Wait a minute.
Scary nerds. But what I was thinking back to Josh's show, I had some suggestions that Josh has rejected. I wanted him to be Count Jacula from Pennsylvania.
I like both of those. I mean, Count Jacula would have to be on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I would.
How about this,
subscribe to that.
Al? Here's my idea for Al.
We're in there.
Al he'd come in at like once a month.
Yeah.
This would involve either growing some hair or whatever. He could be Frankenfro.
Frankenfro.
Man.
I kind of like that.
Or Frankenbro.
Al?
Don't say you kind of like any of this.
Are you still there, Al?
Yeah, Frankenfro. It would have to be a name that's grandfathered in, because now it would just meet with too much. There would be some opposition. You can't. There's got to be certain things where you're like, the only way that you're able to get away with it is like it was established in '92. So we'd have to get like a little bit progressive with that. But I like where you're going.
Al, have you seen Blackula?
No, there's a new all black comedy horror film out now, I think.
Yes, it's called The Blackening. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And the tagline is, we can't all die first.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's a great tagline.
Yeah. It should be good.
And also, like, I really thought that was a website, and I'm pretty sure it still is. I didn't know. I thought there might be some copyright infringements, but maybe my cookies are wrong.
No, Al Jackson is our guest. Al's a distinguished stand-up comedian and one of the hosts of the Daily Blast Live, where you can see him on the TV Monday through Friday.
I like that you call it the Daily, like it's Ohio State. It makes it regal.
Yeah,
the Daily Blast Live. I like it.
I'm trying to make it.
It's what you would yell in an argument when your girl's like, I don't care about you or your stupid Daily Blast Live. And she's like, it's the Daily Blast Live to you.
Now, did you have a nickname when you were a kid?
Well, a lot. I think we all have names that, like Willie G is on the show, but I assume that, family members that knew Willie G when he was 6 months old call him something different. And my family, if you grew up with me in Ohio from like 0 to 8, you either my mama calls me Albert, or some of my old school Southern family members call me Benji, because my middle name is Benjamin. So some people still call me Benji. Like when I say, hey, Benji, I'm like, oh yeah. What's up, Aunt Phyllis?
Now, what does your lady friend call you?
My lady friend. She should be coming down a mahogany staircase with a bubble around her neck calling me my lady friend. I love it. She just calls me Al, I think.
She doesn't.
Her name is Sarah, and I just call her Sar. Which I don't know if you can you shorten a 4-letter name?
You could go to a letter, call her S.
Yeah, but that sounds like you're asking for drugs in 2006. Like, you got any S on you? What is that?
Look at the S on that S.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hey,
Al Jackson is also very familiar with the street lingo. And he is helping me develop my street smarts. And that's what we do this segment. Every week, he gives me a word or a phrase, and I try to interpret it and guess what it actually means. What have you got today, Al?
Tom. Usually, when we use this word, it's in the world of automotive, but not today. So, Tom, what do you think how would you use the word lemon?
Lemon. Okay.
Lemon.
Obviously, a lemon is a bad automobile or truck. I got a lemon.
Great in hot water in the morning, I'll tell you that.
Is it something about sour? Is it about sourness?
Yeah, I would go down that road.
Yeah, she was a hot-looking babe, but boy, what a lemon!
That's perfect. That's
Okay.
it. It's just a bad person. It's just like where you're just like, oh, what's wrong? You ever meet people and you're just like, what's? It's like we'll get emails sometimes, and it'll be over like a really like we try to do like really like, hey, these kids are going out and they're repainting graffiti, and just somebody be like, well, if they didn't, you're like, sir. We have to spread a little joy here. We don't need to attack 4 11-year-olds that are trying to help their community. That would be like you're like there's a lot of stuff. You cannot be mad at that, but I really would. That's a segment that we could never do. Is just emails where I would call the segment "Sir," and where you just want to be like, look, man, I get that you're frustrated about some things, but. Dude, we only got so many summers in front of us, man. Let's just go ahead and enjoy this one. But lemon. Tom, use it correctly in a sentence, please. But again,
when I got it
again, Tom, hold on. I feel like you need to talk to the group about why they don't give you more props. You just let off the inning with a liner to the
Hey, you want to know why, Al?
You held up for a double. Talk
We're
to me.
on this show for about 15 minutes a week, and we sit here
Day
for
in,
20
day out.
hours a week and put up with all of him calling me Count Chocula from Pennsylvania. So when he stumbles into a correct thing, we're not going to give him the accolades you think he deserves.
Well,
He's a
I'm going to prove.
monster.
I'm going to prove to Al this wasn't a home run. It was a grand slam, as I used the phrase properly. When life gives you lemons, dumper.
There you go. I love that. I love that. That should be on a bumper sticker on a Toyota Celica. And honestly, the outburst that Josh just had, it's like the outburst that would happen at a mandatory Bob and Tom work therapy session where like, you had to go. And no one said anything, and the therapist is like, look, we have to check this box off for HR. So somebody needs to say something before. And then Josh just like, well, you don't have to be in here for I could just see that happening in a closed room.
I
with
was
a
also
fake
sort
plant
of
in it.
channeling Chick since he's not here to...
We have time for one more, Al. What have you got?
Okay, Tom. This one, I think that you're gonna get this. This is a newer age term. It's more for the kiddos. But Tom, tell me what copium is. I know Willie G knows what that is.
Copium?
Copium. Opium with a C.
Huh.
Copium.
Copium.
Interesting.
Is it something you have to take to deal with a situation so you can cope with it?
Kind of, and it's not literal like I think you're meaning it, but you're almost exactly right.
I think I got it.
Just don't take it. Don't look at it literally. Okay, Tom, if you get this as a grand slam.
Okay, you're on a date for the first time, and after about 20 minutes, you go, I'm going to need some copium. Could I have 6 more drinks over here, please? Something you need to do to semi-anesthetize yourself to get through the conversation with the lemon that you're stuck with.
Wow.
That's Tom. It's not correct, but it's so close to being correct. It's like it's like when the batter hits the ball and it almost hits his knuckles, so it only goes like 4 inches, and the catcher is so off guard at how terrible of a hit it was, he like legs it out to first. That's kind of what you did, because copium is like what people that have just lost an internet argument. It's the way that you make it right. When, you know, for example, like Josh was talking about monsters, and Josh was like, I'll tell you the best Godzilla was the one where he went to Japan, and there would be somebody that would attack Josh's argument. They would be right, and Josh would have to figure out something about that person to his copium to make it so it's okay he lost that Twitter fight. So it's the way that you're like, yeah, well, you know, I don't have to, I don't know all the monster movies because I've been out on dates. Okay, bro? Yeah. It's just a way to kind of like cope with your loss by just like, yeah, okay, yeah, you got that one, but it's because I don't suck like you do. So you have time to know that kind of stuff. But yeah, go ahead. It's like a way to cope with taking an L on the internet.
So you could say with one of the live golf guys that took all the money, they could say, well, I tell you what, I took all the money, but my copium is my getting on my private jet and flying away, and deal with it, buddy. We're okay. Does it work?
I mean, honestly, no, Ace is right. It was a little bit clumsy, but it worked because that's all. Look, the Wu-Tang Clan said it in 1992. Cash rules everything around me. And long after everybody forgot all about this story in 6 months when 480 other things, do you want that check or not? And I said it one time. I was bombing at a college years ago, and I hated the kids. And I was up there just like in my head, like, yeah, I got like 2 more minutes. And I was like, I know you. Did you guys enjoy the show? And they're no. And I was like, I was just like, guess what, guys? 2 words that are going to be important in your adulthood. Check cleared. I put the mic back in the stand and walked off. That is a true story. That was fun, Al. I was still drinking.
Thanks. Al Jackson, watch him on the Daily Blast Live. Thanks, Al. It's always a great pleasure.